Okay, Deltarune, you saw the thumbnail title, whatever. You want Deltarune. I don't have time for an intro. Let's go. Okay, so, in Undertale, well, we can assume that the characters that are shared between Undertale and Deltarune, they're definitely under different circumstances, but they still have the same general wants, the same general dreams. Alphys is still very smart. Undyne still has the wish to protect, hence why she's a royal guard in Undertale and a police officer in Deltarune. Okay, that makes sense. So, Mettaton is not an exception. In Deltarune, we kind of meet Mettaton in this little house. It's not completely confirmed, but it might as well be confirmed based on the way they talk and whatnot. So, Mettaton in this Deltarune house, he's all like, oh, I'm so sad and whatnot. Because in Undertale, what happens is the way of Mettaton, it's confirmed that Mettaton is in fact a ghost, and he just inhabits this body built for him by Alphys. So in Undertale, what we know that happens, if you didn't know, is actually Mettaton goes to talk to Alphys. So here's Mettaton in ghost form, and he goes to talk to Alphys, okay? And then they're like, and he's like, build me a robot, okay? So, and then Alphys says, sure. So that's how in Undertale, Mettaton becomes the robot. Yes, he comes to become the robot. Yes. In Deltarune, however, he still wants to become a robot or something like that. He wants to be a star of the show, even though he's very shy. Except in Deltarune, Alphys never became the royal scientist because there was no royalty. There was no need for that. Hence why Alphys is just Alphys. So it's just kind of awkward. So Mettaton doesn't even have an opportunity. So if you were Mettaton and wanted to become a great show's salesman, but you didn't have the opportunity, what would you do? Probably just dream about it. And what would you do? Probably draw it in a software. And we can assume, just for the sake of this theory, that Mettaton does not own a computer at home in Deltarune. So where would he go? The computer lab. That's where Deltarune Chapter 2 takes place. So we have the computer lab, of course. And this is where Spamton starts to come in. We'll get there. So, of course, Mettaton would go there, use the computer. So Mettaton uses the computer. He uses the computer to create, for example, a drawing of something like this. The butler in the shop that you talk to in Queen's Mansion when you first enter there is he says the machine Spamton used was the embodiment of a certain Lightner's dream, one that he helped create with a splash of color. That means to imply to me that butler was actually the Dark World version of what would be paint software in the Light World. So hence why Mettaton used the paint software to create some idea of what would become Mettaton Neo in Undertale, except in Deltarune it was just a dream. So of course here he is, boom 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 boom. Awesome. It's awesome. Mettaton Neo, I know. So this is exactly what Mettaton Neo would have looked like, I know. So, it's Mettaton. So he would have drawn this, yeah. And so, yes. And as we know, according to this theory that I have created, that thing is just a file on the computer, right? And it's probably just corrupted data as implied by the butler, which is a huge part of this theory. I actually came up with this theory before, talking to the butler after defeating Spamton Neo, but that dialogue basically confirms it, but we'll get there. So Mettaton, where was I? Oh yes, Mettaton, the machine. Oh yes, Mettaton Neo, the file that Mettaton creates in Deltarune becomes the machine in Deltarune. Yes, in the Dark World. And the Light World, Mettaton actually creates, just a drawing. That file becomes in the Dark World the machine. So Spamton can take control of that. Hence why, Spamton over here, he's like, ho, 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 ho. Everything blocked, all the good stuff. There he is. And what does he do? He takes it over. One of the biggest confirmations of this theory is that when you talk to the butler after the Spamton Neo fight, he says that machine was the embodiment of a certain Lightner's dream, one that they could not achieve. Something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but it was something along those lines. So we know for a fact, based off of that, we don't know for a fact, but we know, according to my theory, that Mettaton created that. So in short, Mettaton created a file in Deltarune on a computer with some kind of drawing or design of Mettaton Neo. In the Dark World, that became a machine. Spamton used that machine. The end.